Okay, guys. Some people had some questions about the volume of rectangular prisms. So the first one that we're going to look at is we're going to look at number 6. Number 6 has mixed numbers, but it also has they've given you the volume. So the first thing we're going to start with is what we always start with. We start with writing our formula. So our formula for a rectangular prism is V equals the area of the base times the height, which, working with rectangular prisms, we know that the area of the base is just going to be length times width or base times height. And most of you guys like length times width and then times the height of the prism. Just remember, though, on your formula chart for the STAR test, it will say base times height. And so just remember that length times width, base times height, it's the same thing. So looking back at our shape, they've told us that the volume is 60 inches cubed. So where the V is, we're going to put in 60. And then we're going to go back and we're going to put in our other dimensions. It tells us that we're looking for the length. And so that width would be the 2.5. I'm going to leave the 2.5 as a mixed number. I know a lot of people want to just go ahead and make that a decimal. Sometimes that's easy, but when you've got 3 1/3, which is our height of our prism, when you have a repeating fraction, then that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as 3 1/3. Okay, so now the only thing I can do is I can multiply 2.5 times 3 1/3. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to make the fractions improper fractions. So 2 times 2 would be 4, plus 1 is 5/2. Same thing right here. 3 times 3 would be 9, plus 1 would be 10/3. Okay? And we bring down our times length and bring down everything else. Okay? So now we have 5/2 times 10/3. We can definitely multiply straight across, but we can also do some simplifying before we multiply. Looking at the 2 and the 10, those are both divisible by 2. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 would be 1. 10 divided by 2 would be 5. And so then we can multiply straight across. So 5 times 5 would be 25. And 1 times 3 is 3. And then we still have that times our length. Okay. So 25/3 times the length. So we're still trying to find out what L is. So we have to do the inverse operation. And so the inverse operation would be, instead of dividing by 25/3, well, actually, it would be to divide by 25/3. Okay. So you would divide both sides by 25/3. Now, 25/3 divided by 25/3 is going to be 1, which is going to just leave you with your L. And then on the other side, you're going to have 60. I'm going to do 60 over 1. Okay. Divided by 25/3, which, remember, when you're dividing by your fractions, you have to multiply by the reciprocal. So that's going to be still 60 over 1 times 3/25. Okay. 3 and 1, can't do anything with that. But the 60 and the 25, we could simplify that a little bit. Those would both be divisible by 5. So 25 divided by 5 would be 5. 60 divided by 5 would be 15. Hello. Yep. So then we could multiply across our numerators. 15 times 3 is 45. 1 times 5 is 5. 45 divided by 5 is going to be 9. So 9 is going to be the length of our rectangular prism, and that would be 9 inches. And that's much easier than working with a repeating decimal. All right. The other one you had questions about was number 9. But I thought, oh, also let's look at number 5 first. Okay, so looking at number 5. Number 5 says, determine the length of a rectangular prism having a volume of 2,830 and 5/10 cubic meters, a width of 18 and 5/10 meters, and a height of 9 meters. So once again, for number 5, we're looking for the length. So I'm writing my formula down. And I'm just going to write length times width times height. Okay. And so they told us that the volume was 2,830 and 5/10. We're looking for the length. They told us the width was 18 and 5/10. And the height is 9. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine as we can. So we have 18 and 5/10, whoops, times 9. So 5 times 9 is 45. 8 times 9 is 72. Plus 4 would be 76. Carry the 7. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus 7 would be 16. Now we have one decimal place in our problem. We're going to have one decimal place in our answer, always starting from the right. Okay, so we're going to put that over in our problem. And we have 2,830 and 5/10 equals. And then we have 166 and 5/10 L. So they're multiplying by 166 and 5/10. So we have to do the opposite and divide. So 166 and 5/10 divided by 166 and 5/10 is going to be 1, which is going to leave you with L. And then you're going to have to divide your 2,830 and 5/10 divided by 166 and 5/10. So just a reminder, when you're dividing by a decimal, you've got to make it a whole number. And however many times you move it over in the divisor, you have to move it over in the dividend. So now we have the problem. 1,665 divided into 28,305. Okay, so now we're going to divide that. Alrighty. So if I had to guess, I would think that 1,665 times 2 might get us close to what we're needing. So 5 times 2 is 10. That would be 12, 13, carry the 1, 12, 13, carry the 1, 3,330. Oh, it's too much. Okay, so that's not going to work. So we're only going to be able to do it one time. And we're going to have to subtract. Okay, so we have 10 minus 5 is 5. That became a 2. We need to make that a 12. So 12 minus 6 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. And 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay? Then we're going to bring down the 5. And we're going to have 11,665. And so How about, that's 1,600 is close to 2,000. 11,600 is close to 12. So what if we tried 6 times? So 6 times is 9,990. 7 times is going to be exactly our answer. Let me double check it. 35. That's going to be 42, 43, 44, 45. Carry the 4. 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Carry the 4. That's 11. Okay, and that's going to be 17. So our length would be 17. All right, and that's going to be 17. That was number 5. That would be 17 meters. All right. Hopefully that helps you with those two. We're going to skip number 9 for right now, just so that I can get this up. And sorry it's so late. We just got home from the choir concert. So hopefully this will be helpful for you. And then we'll talk more tomorrow. Have a good evening.